Coming up on Hoge Jahns, Kevin Fishbane. The Fishman is back. The season's starting. We had to call him. We had to get him on the line. We're breaking everything down from Hal's Hall this week, getting deeper into the Vikings. Show starts right now. What's up? Welcome in, Hoge Jahns. Back with you. More importantly, back with us, the Fishman, Kevin Fishbane, joining the show once.
Hey! It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. I don't know if people know, but I've been ignoring you in the media room. So it's nice to see you guys and talk to you again.
You don't ignore us that much when you say hello to us every single day.
That's true. That's true. I'm nothing if not friendly.
Yeah. Most importantly, where do we rank in the stats on the Breaking In podcast? I need an update.
As of, I'll give you a live update, because you guys were, when I went to sleep last night, you guys were closing in on the #1 most listened to episode of Breaking In, and you guys are still trailing friend of the program, Courtney Cronin, but you are nipping at the heels.
We're trailing Courtney?
Where are we on YouTube views?
YouTube, you're #1. So shout out to the Hoge Jahns listeners.
We win.
I do appreciate all you guys who listened to that episode. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. But I was thinking, has the Hoge Jahns podcast ever had Mike Tirico on?
I don't know. So.
I believe that's a challenge issued.
Wow, that's interesting. Huh.
That was a good gift by you.
I had him on my podcast.
Yeah.
Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane. Get all your audio platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane. Mike Tirico is my guest this week. And special Monday episode coming out before the game for another Hall of Fame guest.
And I think I know who that is. I was actually in my head just, are you not saying it? Are you not saying it yet?
No.
Think that here on Hoge Jahns or no?
Should I?
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are the podcast experts. All right. Monday morning on Hoge Jahns. Don't listen to that show. Listen to my show on Monday morning.
Put him on this show.
On Monday morning, I'm Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane, Joe Buck.
That's right.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. So,
yeah.
Have you guys had Joe Buck on your show?
Another challenge.
But my most
this is
you got to remember though, my most viral video of all time is Joe Buck doing play-by-play of me spiking that basketball in my son's face when he was 5 years old during COVID.
That's true.
So
that's true.
And I've told this story before. I think it might have been on this show. I don't know, one of the shows I do. So since Krista, you guys saw this, I think you're witnesses for this. Krista came to the owners' meetings this year. So we actually went up and bothered Joe, which of course he did not at all act bothered. He's an awesome person. And it did, before the words were out of my mouth of what I was going to bring up to him, it clicked in his brain. He knew exactly what I was talking about, the exact video I was talking about. He remembered it fully. And it was just a really fun conversation. So yeah, 5 years later, it was cool. Almost exactly 5 years later, actually, after the COVID pandemic started, to have that conversation with Joe. So I'm excited for that episode because I like Joe Buck a lot, and he's going to be on Breaking In. That's cool.
It's going to be fun. I think for fans who are going to the game, if you're going to work that day, I assume people are just taking the whole day off work to prepare for the game. But if you have time to listen to a podcast, that's a good episode to listen to. And if you haven't listened to the Hoge Jahns episode of Breaking In, what are you doing?
Yes.
I mean,
get those numbers up.
Get those numbers up and do not listen to Courtney's episode.
Unlisten if you can. Is that a thing?
Yeah. If you can take it back, please do that. You know,
I
actually think that's the correct ranking. In my mind, Courtney should outrank us. But that being said, I think we've started a new rivalry in that media room, and Hoge Jahns is going to take her down. Also, Courtney, if you want to join the show next week, we'd love to have you.
There we
Courtney's
go.
been on a lot of podcasts and shows lately. So
she's been at Hoge Jahns before. She's been on our show.
And I will say, is that shout out to the Hoge Jahns listeners for listening, subscribing to my podcast. And actually, that's the only reason I came on today. So good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. Go listen to my podcast, and
see you later.
I'll see you at Hallis.
Who is the next media member in that room to get the call from you?
Okay, so This is a great question. This wasn't necessarily on purpose, but episode 10 was Mark Potash. Episode 20 was you guys. So I'm thinking like it could be like every 10 episodes is either someone from that room or someone who's like hyper local, because I've obviously had a lot of national guests on. There's a certain person in that room who's reached a milestone this season, and I want him to come on, and he has not fully ruled it out.
Can I guess who it is?
I want to guess too.
You guys could probably guess who it is. Yeah.
All right, let's do it on the count of 3. Let's both say it.
Go ahead and guess, because he doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, I know. That's why I think I know who it is.
Never hear it.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Brad Biggs.
No.
No.
There's somebody else in that room who doesn't listen to your podcast who's reaching a milestone this season in terms of his time with the Chicago Bears.
Joniak.
And by...
Did I get it?
Sorry. Yes, you got it.
Biggs would be an outstanding episode, by the way.
But I don't know what Biggs' first job was. I mean, before Tribune or before Sun Times.
I know what it is. I actually know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Biggs would be a great guest.
I'm not gonna reveal it here. The big reveal. I'll let Biggs do it.
Yeah. So Joniak, I don't. We'll see. That'd be fun. Wouldn't you guys want to hear about like Joniak's start?
Yes, and I'm going to tee you up on something because I'm not even sure if he knows this or remembers this. Well, he does remember his first. I believe I have this correctly as a teaser that you got to tee him up on your show. But he got like a last minute opportunity to call an NIU game, I believe. Maybe I have that. But the reason why I know that is because I think Mark Carman was actually supposed to be the one calling the game. So Carm takes credit for Joniak's entire career, of course, because I forget if something came up or maybe he got fired. But what an upgrade for NIU on that call, obviously. And it worked out that Joniak called the game and eventually became the voice of the Bears. That may or may not be correct, so you'll have to tune in to Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane, Jeff Joniak for episode 30. I'm booking Joniak for that episode. He's not allowed to say no.
On this podcast that he probably doesn't listen to.
Right.
I mean, every now and then.
He doesn't have time because that man prepares like it's nobody's business. So he's got no time for podcasts.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in 3 weeks, even though he's been 15 feet away from me the entire time.
Well, when I said in the room, I probably could have clarified he's in the same media room as us, but he has his own separate room that keeps him.
That you could occasionally hear him emanating from as he does his hits.
I have probably promised like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people in that room that they're going to come on my podcast. So, like I've told Sylvie's coming on. I've told Dan Weeder who's coming on. I've told our good friend Patrick Finley that he'll have an episode. So.
I liked how you don't ask him. You're just like, hey, I'm giving you an episode. Just
I'm giving you you should be honored. I will say that I know it has come up. Greg Braggs has not been invited to be on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Give him some time. He needs some more time on the media side of things.
Should I say when he does break in, then maybe he can come on the podcast?
Wow. Shots fired.
He will hear that.
He's literally on the other. By the way, he's on the other side of this wall right now talking to Charles Tillman, and I'm not even making that up. So I'm gonna have his back a little bit on. He's broken in a little bit.
I almost said, talk to me, Braggs, when you get Mike Tirico on the podcast. But knowing Braggs, once I make that challenge, Tirico's going to be on. Tuesday. He's going to be on CHGO, without a doubt. So
there's no question. That guy has no fear. It's one of his strengths. I will say this though: if you don't have Mark Carman on by episode like 60, you will start to hear about it from him. He will take that personally.
Karma's got a good story. I like to have Karma. Everyone's got a good story. So it's been fun. And wow, this has been awesome. This has been like an 11-minute advertisement for my podcast. Everybody subscribe on all your audio platforms. Be sure to add us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Breaking In Pod KF. Check that out as well. Yeah.
We're just trying to suck up to you so you keep coming back all season is really what this is because
put that in the comments. Make sure Kevin wants to come back. He wants to come back. I believe he wants to come back.
I do. Listen, I am nothing if not honest about how much I enjoy coming on this show to play the role of making fun of you guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hit the big topic then. How much does it suck working with Dan Wiederer now?
You know what's funny? I declined a call from Dan. When you said Jeff Joniak, I didn't hear it in my ear because Dan was calling me and it came through on my headphones.
Boom.
So
wow.
Should I
don't tell it. Wait. Don't tell him that's why you didn't pick up his call.
I was going to take a picture. I was going to take a picture of this and say, this is why I had to decline your call.
Oh, man. Great start to his Thursday.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
All right. Well, this was fun.
To answer your question, working with Dan's been great until this moment. That
now you're screwed. All right.
Check out all of our work at The Athletic, theathletic.com. Yeah.
That's right. That you should. All the great Bears content is still there. All right, Kevin, let's get into it since we should talk some Bears on this show.
Good news, by the way, for our listeners. I have 0 seconds to say for Northwestern football. I am not talking about Northwestern football, so continue.
Wow. 10 years into the show, we've reached the point where now he's declining his 15 seconds.
I am declining comments. Declining comment on Northwestern until further notice. We'll see how they do Friday night against Western Illinois. I have nothing to say about what happened at Tulane on Saturday. Nothing to say about it.
Me neither, because I picked them to cover and they didn't. So
nothing.
They're dead to me too, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they're not, but it was very disappointing. All right, that turned out to be more than 15 seconds. I don't like how you just did that. Anyway, the Chicago Bears, they play the Minnesota Vikings this week. It feels like we've been waiting forever for this game. It's a weird dynamic how just the game being on Monday night compared to Sunday makes it feel like it's like an extra week.
It really does.
One day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's only one day later. And it does feel like we have so many extra days to wait. I think it's because we're recording this on a Thursday and it's off. Like the idea of having an off day on a Thursday is unheard of. But yeah, it's weird. I guess more build up. Do you guys have this feeling where I feel like every team in the NFC North, maybe except the Lions, when you talk about them in terms of where they can go, it's like the same thing. Well, if JJ McCarthy's great, the Vikings are a Super Bowl contender. If Jordan Love's elite, Packers are winning the Super Bowl. If Caleb Williams can be Caleb Williams, Bears are going to the playoffs. Now, I know it's like a basic thing. You could probably say that about a lot of teams in their quarterback, but I feel like you don't say about the Lions because you kind of know who Jared Goff is. You don't say that about the Bengals, so you can go to that level. But I feel like with those three teams, they're kind of the same where it's like the quarterback is just there's not as many questions about Love, but there are obviously tons of questions about JJ McCarthy. I'm very, very interested to see what he looks like Monday night.
Yeah, but I would also say about Jared Goff, though, I think it's still relevant because is he Jared Goff with Ben Johnson, or does he go back to Jared Goff before Ben Johnson?
Yeah,
true. Which is honestly similar to Jordan Love, in my opinion, and we can get into that too. Like, I think Jordan Love's a good but not great quarterback. I think he can still get better. That's basically what happened when Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl with the Rams, but I don't think anybody looked at him like he was actually living up to what you're quote unquote supposed to be when you are the number one overall pick. And then all of a sudden when they made that trade, it's almost like revisionist history now. That felt like a salary dump. Like they were just casting him off to this awful Detroit team, and who the hell knew what was going to happen with Jared Goff's career. And it easily could have gone where he's just like a backup the rest of his career if it didn't work out there. And instead, he becomes his MVP candidate. And so I still think that's a relevant discussion in Detroit because there will probably be regression with the Lions if it turns out, he's not the same guy he's been the last 3 years, and he goes back to like the Rams version of Jared Goff, which I would say was good but not great.
That's all fair. I think we just uncovered something on Hoge Jahns. The NFL comes down to the quarterback.
It's big.
Big news. So, speaking of quarterback, training camp is over. Ben Johnson is saying, what's his quote? Hold on. There's no reason why we can't win this year. He said that while discussing Caleb Williams. Where is your expectation level like at with QB1? Like, or do you feel better about his progress? Do you feel better about his pairing with Ben Johnson at this point?
I feel better about his pairing with Ben Johnson, and I'm trying to use my platform, if you will. I think we should all be more patient in society.
What is that?
But like with quarterbacks,
find
like
that word.
Okay, so like 2022, the Lions' first year with Ben Johnson as play caller. 2022 season.
Yep.
Okay, like they had a terrible start, had that great finish. Goff was very good, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, 99.3 rating, right? And then that leads into 2023 where they win the division. In 2024 they go off, right? So like I just feel like we could give Caleb Williams some time to grow with Ben Johnson. I understand though that there is this like, you have Joe Thuney, you have Grady Jarrett, like, you know, you're paying Montez Sweat, you got all these things, so you're not rebuilding. But I just think that like you don't need to necessarily know on Tuesday that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson is going to be this match made in heaven. Like I want to allow room for them to grow into this, where we can all agree that what they look like in November is going to be different than what they look like Monday night. With all that said, like this is what I've been saying about Caleb Williams, and forgive me because I said this on this exact podcast 1 year ago. If you're a Bears fan, I think your number one goal is that come January 8th, you're sitting there being like, Caleb is the guy. We're good. We're good to go. We are on the right trajectory. We can keep building around him, keep giving him whatever he needs, but we've got him. That's what, if you're a Bears fan, like that should be the ultimate goal of this season. Like, I don't know how many people can say that right now. I think some fans have said it, but I think you want to have that consensus. Like, he's the guy. And I don't know what you guys like coming out of training camp. I don't think you could sit there and say that, but I do think that there's a potential you could get there, and I want to give it some time.
So how much time? Is this like an 8-game run here? Is it, to me, I would argue he needs the full season for all the highs and lows.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the end of the season. You should be able to know.
I would even say he deserves more than that. I'm just not sure he's going to get more than that. Like, in a sense, this is a test of Ben Johnson's patience too, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. Is like Ben Johnson, you could probably argue Ben Johnson already knows, right? I mean, if Ben Johnson is as smart as we all believe he is, and I think he's shown us no reason to think otherwise, like he's a very accomplished play caller, Ben Johnson's going to know by the end of the season. And he'll know at the end of the season if this is like, because you go back to Hoge, your Jared Goff conversation, different. What Goff had been 4 years with McVay after that they made that move, or 3 years, and McVay was like, I just can't do this anymore. 17, 18, 19, right? So 3 seasons with McVay.
In 20. The trade was made after the 2020 season.
Okay.
It was January 2021.
And McVay said, that's it. I just can't do this anymore. We need a different quarterback to win. So like, does Ben Johnson reach that point with Caleb Williams, and when? Or is this the guy and they can just keep rolling? So, and that certainly could be the case.
I want to bring up another athlete in this town that it just doesn't get the same attention on the same grand scale unless you're in the hockey bubble. But Connor Bedard is not that different from Caleb Williams in terms of number 1 overall pick, incredibly hyped, like generational talent, especially in Canada. That's why it's a little bit different. But, he's now going into year 3. So he's a year ahead of Caleb. But after 2 seasons, as a Blackhawks fan, as a season ticket holder, I would say I feel pretty confident that Connor Bedard is going to be a really good player for the Blackhawks for a long time. What I don't know is he going to be, Patrick Kane's level, that they are actually winning Stanley Cups. This guy's a league MVP type talent. That's still up in the air. So the reason I bring that up is, would that be an acceptable finish to Caleb Williams year 2 going into year 3, where it's like, okay, this guy's done enough where I feel fairly confident he's going to get a second contract here with the Bears when that comes around. He's going to be the starter here for a while. But, we don't quite know if he's actually going to turn into Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes still.
So who would be, I guess, if you're going to go in comparison, because I think that Connor Bedard comparison is very good. I think that makes a lot of sense. And also, do we set the bar with the Chicago Bears franchise? If Caleb Williams is good enough to earn a second contract, he is the greatest quarterback in Bears history. He would get there if that's what he's earned that. Because they're not going to give him a second contract if there's any doubt.
Low bar, but very significant for what the Bears are.
Right. So I guess Hoge, to your point, at the end of the season, are you looking at a guy who could be Josh Allen Mahomes or could be Jordan Love? Right. And I think Packers fans feel pretty good about Jordan Love. And people are talking about the Packers in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it always goes back to what have we talked about?
They freeze.
Oh, no. Hope you have better internet with Mike Tirico, Joe Buck. It's ridiculous. We froze Kevin. Well, I think that Jordan Love, as we will reestablish here with Kevin, Johnsy.
Well, can I? I got a thought on this. Can I inject?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here comes Kevin. You would settle for Jordan Love success. Jordan Love, that type of quarterback, that type of success. You would settle for that. But your expectation, your hope should be so much higher because this is the first overall pick still. He should still be held to that standard. You're hoping he's Josh Allen. You're hoping he's Patrick Mahomes.
But this is where this gets so difficult in today's NFL with these quarterbacks making so much money. The problem the Packers might have with Jordan Love is not that he's not good. It's that they're paying him $55 million a year like he is Patrick Mahomes. And that ties up other things. And the reason why that's relevant, look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence already got his second contract with the Jaguars, but they tied up a lot of money there. And they're all in on him, despite not knowing if he's worth the money they paid him. And the Bears actually went down this road before because they ended up giving Jay Cutler another contract. And then they decided he wasn't good enough and they had to eat all that money and get out of it. So that's where it kind of becomes unfair for quarterbacks like Jordan Love, or even if Caleb Williams gets to that point where it's it's still a matter. Okay, we know this guy's good, but do you pay him like he's great? Because teams are getting stuck in that, and that's just today's NFL.
That's the Brock Purdy conversation. And I think there's a handful of quarterbacks within that conversation where it's that fear of, you're always looking for someone better, but it's that fear of not having a quarterback at the same time. Brock Purdy's good. Might have to hold on to him because not sure if we can find a better option. Jordan Love, he's good, but I'm not sure we can find a better option. I'm not sure we can find our Patrick Mahomes. And there's your tiers of quarterback. There's where that conversation comes in. Kev, we were saying, as Kevin Fishbane rejoins the show, if you're the Bears, you'd probably settle for a Jordan Love-like trajectory for Caleb Williams. In his first full year as a starter, Jordan Love was 9-8, 64.2 completion percentage, passed for 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That is a home run season for a Bears quarterback. That's a grand slam season for a Bears quarterback. But at the same time, Caleb Williams is the first overall pick. Your expectation level, your hope level is that he's better than that. Is that he's in the conversation with Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen and those guys.
It is, but can I stop you for 1 second? Can you read that stat line again? You said he went 9-8, completed 64% of his passes?
64.2. He threw for 4,159 yards, 32 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 96.1 and a QBR of 62.1.
That was Jordan Love's 2023 season, 2 years ago.
Correct.
Dude, not only do I think that's attainable for Caleb Williams, but everybody would sign up for that, obviously.
Yes.
But I think
Right.
that's realistic. Because, and I love you. The reason why that caught my ear so much, Johns, is because the one thing that I just think has been raised too high, and I don't hate that it's been raised too high. I'm on record. I'm glad that Ben Johnson has raised the bar to that level. I just don't think Caleb Williams is going to be a 70% passer. I don't think that that's just what his game's going to be. But you just read off a great year from Jordan Love in which his completion percentage was 64. So that would be, to me, an absolutely acceptable and realistic season for Caleb Williams this year.
Well, and that's why I thought the most interesting thing about that stat line too, Johns, was 9-8. Because that's why I keep saying, to me, the Caleb Williams question is more important than the record. Like what you just read off, you said the Bears fans would take that gladly. The Bears would take that. Caleb Williams Caleb Williams sets a pretty high bar for himself. He probably wouldn't like all those interceptions. But so people say, what do you think's a successful season for the Bears? I'm like, a successful season for the Bears is if you walk away knowing you have your franchise quarterback. And I don't know if that's a 9-8 season, a 10-7, and an 8-9. I mean, probably not that bad, because if you're going to put up good numbers, you're generally going to have a pretty good season. By the way, guys, how glad are you that my internet didn't crap out like that when I was interviewing Mike Tirico on my podcast, Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane, which you can find on all your audio platforms, and also subscribe on YouTube at Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane. Here's a quarterback question for you, though. When we're talking about tiers and who Caleb Williams could be and who you knew, Jalen Hurts kind of alters the paradigm for a lot of this too, doesn't he? Because, Jalen Hurts is a phenomenal quarterback. But how many MVP, preseason MVP votes is he getting? Right? He's still not getting talked about the way Burrow and Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes are being talked about. And he won a Super Bowl.
No, but yeah.
It's hard. He's just different. And that whole organization is different.
He's a very unique quarterback. And I wouldn't rule out him, now that he's got the Super Bowl ring, I wouldn't rule out him climbing to that level. But it's always going to be hard when he's going up against those other
right.
passers.
But he's also another great example of patience. You go look at his first season, and he came in, and you talk about how great that franchise is right now. They were in shambles when he came in. And you looked at, and we always talked about this with Fields, right? Because we used Jalen Hurts as this barometer. We're like, hey, look what Justin Fields could do. Look at what Jalen Hurts did. I think that Hurts is a good example that sometimes you want to be able to know right away. You love that. I think you knew that with Mahomes when he got out there, right?
Patience.
And
go ahead.
Well, I'll say, but you didn't know that right away with Josh Allen. You did not know that right away with Jalen Hurts. And, we'll see. And look, you could flip it the other way. I think there's, by the way, can I ask you guys a question? Have you heard a single thing about the Houston Texans this summer?
No, I was going through all my, we're making our predictions on CHGO today. So I was actually in a weird Houston Texans deep dive yesterday at one point at House Hall.
Can you tell me anything about
It's actually very weird.
It was. Well, I'm just like, I think this team's good.
Where am I here?
To your point, Kevin, I haven't paid a single second of attention really to them all at training camp. So,
and I think CJ Stroud could still be a great player. I bring up the Texans because I think the way you felt about CJ Stroud in January of 2024 might be a little different than the way you felt about him last January. These guys, let them take their journeys. You just want to make sure you see something. You have to know. You can't that's why you can't let it go on for too long, and you never see examples of greatness. And I think we should see some of that from Caleb Williams.
I think what you're talking about is this league-wide problem, and Zach Kiefer, my former colleague, your current colleague, did a great job explaining this in The Athletic about how organizations mess up quarterbacks, and there's some level of patience involved. At least with Hurts, the Eagles as an organization can be patient. They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, right? They can be patient with a second-round pick in Jalen Hurts, where Caleb Williams is a first-round pick. I think you want some more instantaneous success. But to your point about Hurts, I looked this up from Jeff Howe, my former colleague, your current colleague. like who's the MVP as he polls 31 NFL coaches. Like not one vote for Jalen Hurts in this. You had Burrow with the most, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and then Jaden Daniels. Not one vote for Hurts.
Yeah, and he probably deserves more respect than that, especially now that he has the Super Bowl. All right, here's what we got to do. I got to take a quick break, and then I want to hear Kevin's outlook for the Bears season. Prediction time. We got to hear it. That's coming up next. First, we take a quick time out here on Hoge Jahns.
Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now it's time to get your air conditioning unit or furnace, it's getting kind of cold in Chicago, checked out. And Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with your AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service, and Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, and holidays. It's fantastic. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee. Save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling emergency? Need a new hot water tank or generator? Call Four Seasons with same-day installation and no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Call 866-4-SEASONS. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
And our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. Football is here. Let's go. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup wherever you are in Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. You just have to visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off. That's 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. And for returning customers, use code CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. All right, Kevin Fishbane. How many games do the Bears win this season and why?
My original prediction was 9-8. After training camp, or the first few weeks of training camp, some recency bias clouded that. And I started looking around the league, looking at the schedule, and I thought, this might be 8-9. But in the last week or two, I was like, I don't know. I still feeling better about this team. So how about 8-1?
Oh, God.
That is...
Who's the tie?
Don't say
Packers.
Monday night.
Packers.
Packers is even worse than Monday night.
Could you imagine if they tied the Packers
against the Packers? That's like the worst outcome I could ever. I think it'd be better if they just lost.
Like
All
a
right,
tie
so-
against the Packers, like both towns would feel like they lost.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem I'm having when I look at this schedule. Okay. You play Jared Goff and the Lions on the road. You play Jordan Love and the Packers on the road. You play Joe Burrow on the road. You play Lamar Jackson on the road. You play Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers on the road. You play. Did I get everybody? Are those the big ones? Like, they're going to be underdogs in all of those games, like heavy underdogs potentially in some of them. And then you look at, you're welcoming. I mean, I don't know what to make of the Aaron Rodgers return. What that's going to look like. I just think it's I know we always have to be careful of strength of schedule because you never know, but I think those quarterbacks that I just rattled off. I think it's just tough. It's tough to find when you're making a prediction. It's tough to sit there and rattle off 9 wins when you have some questions of your own about the Bears.
Yeah,
so that's why I settled on 8-1. Or 9-8, or 8-9. It's somewhere in that 8 to 9 range. I don't see them going 6-11. I don't even see them going. I don't know 7-10. I don't even know if I see that. But I also really struggle to see them going winning more than 10 games right now. It's hard to find those wins.
I mean, it's a weird league. I mean, no one would have thought they would have won 12 in 2018. Right.
And look, back before John's ditched me for CHGO, we talked on this podcast about the comparison of the 2018 Bears to this team, and I think there's some really legitimate reasons to look at that, and because I think this year's offense is better than what that team had. That team, obviously, their defense was better than this team. But here's the thing about the 2018 Bears. People forget, which is crazy to think about. They went 12-4. They completely blew games in Miami and the New York Giants games. And you could argue week 1 against the in Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can argue that.
Absolutely should have won those 3 games. Now, I know there's probably you could flip it around the other way. You think about some of the fourth quarter Eddie Jackson pick sixes, but you could argue that if you make a comparison to 2018, maybe this coaching staff wins a couple of those games that team, games like that team didn't. So I don't know. I think I will say this, and I assume you guys are on the same page because you were out there every day with me at camp. The thing I feel best about, the thing that gives me the most confidence about this team is Ben Johnson. Like, if you want to talk about where this team can go, how many games they can win, anytime I'm thinking about 9 or 10 wins or a playoff team, it's because of this guy who can call plays with the best of them and has shown that he can install a program in the building that guys follow and respect, and it seems to work right now. They got to play a real game, but that's it.
And then I would say, maybe reason number 3 or 4 might be Dennis Allen, because of what that defense kind of needed after what happened under Matt Eberflus, and how they've all bought into what Dennis Allen is selling, not only on the field and schematically, but behind the scenes. His bravado, his tenaciousness, his defensive players. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, sorry. This is important to cut you off. If Kevin White catches that Hail Mary against New England, they could have gone 16-0.
They were right there.
Right there.
They were right there. Maybe they would have then gone for 2 and run that play they ended up running against the Vikings.
And then they wouldn't have.
The option, the pitch to Mitch.
I thought you were going to say the 2-point conversion they ran against the Eagles in the playoffs, where they threw it to Khalil Mack, and didn't work. Right?
Remember that?
Didn't they throw it to Khalil in the playoff game? I think so.
Wow.
And they didn't get it. If they had run that against the Patriots, they wouldn't have run it against the Eagles. They might have run something else,
and won the
maybe
game.
They win that game. And then,
so it's all Kevin White's fault.
Listen, I'm not here to point blame at anybody.
Let's stick with 2018 in terms of this comparison. We had a lot of fun.
Kevin White caught that ball, by the way. He did
catch the ball.
He just was short of the end zone.
Sorry, Khalil Mack was on the field for that play.
That's right. I'm I don't remember them throwing to him.
Sorry, he was on the field. He was reported as eligible alongside Bradley Soul. And Mitch Trubisky's pass to Taylor Gabriel felt incomplete.
All right. Here's a fun game then that we could play. Not to get off topic, but it's on topic. What is the wrinkle? Ben Johnson's going to do something Monday night. What is that's just got in my head, because whether it's throwing to Bradley Sowell or handing the ball off to Akeem Hicks or putting Khalil Mack on offense. Eddie Jackson was on offense at one point, I think, in that season. What is the wrinkle that Ben Johnson debuts Monday night? Because there's got to be something.
By the way, it was in Detroit that Eddie Jackson came on the field, and then I believe they had a penalty or something happen, and they ended up taking him off. I don't know if he ended up going back out there.
Sounds on brand, yeah.
So here's my question to your question, Hoge. How comfortable are you with Ozzie Trapillo in a Dan Skipper? Because Ozzie began his football career as a tight end, early on. Very athletic guy. And also, frankly, don't you want him getting some extra lineman reps if you're going to use an extra lineman?
Yeah.
You'd probably prefer that he's getting those reps. Just think that's something to think about.
Now, the Bears have run this trick play at practice a couple times. I don't know what I'm going to give away here, where Caleb. Is Kevin frozen again? Or no, there he is. Okay.
No, I'm here. I'm just not moving because I'm afraid you're going to give up a secret. We're all going to get in trouble.
I'm afraid here. I'm afraid here too.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Caleb gets the ball somehow. We'll just leave it at that. But you know what I'm talking about? Where
I know.
Yeah.
It never works.
It hasn't worked a single time. I don't want to see that play Monday night.
No, they could give up that one. We've seen it in training camp a couple times. Like that trick play that they've tried a few times at camp. Easy, maybe it's just easy to sniff out, or there's another wrinkle we haven't seen yet before. But all the previous wrinkles are pretty bad so far.
Well, hey, Hoge, Mark Burley had a bad bullpen session and then threw a perfect game.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's a little different.
I think it's the exact same. I think the analogy is perfect. How dare you?
Well, if you do want to spin optimistically, I mean, they've been playing the Bears defense every time that they've run that. So will it work differently against the Vikings who haven't seen it? It's possible. It's possible. I was thinking
Hey,
a little bit
can
more
I go off topic again?
That's why you're here.
No, Hoge, you give your trick play, and I'm going to go off topic for a second.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a buffering situation there, guy. Why don't you hang up and call Xfinity and get your stuff figured out?
Are those guys fixing your roof, like taking out your internet?
They are still fixing the roof. And I got an email. I got a text message from Xfinity this morning that said, we've completed work in your neighborhood. You're good to go. And then right away, the next text was, we are going to be doing work in your neighborhood.
Well, it
So which
appears
one
they're
do I
doing
believe?
work. Hopefully for the better. I like where your head was at, though, on getting an extra lineman out there. It's just interesting because we haven't seen that. So is that something you just install on game week? You can do that on a game week, though. Or maybe it was installed before and they just hadn't run it in a practice that was open to the media. Reminder to those listening, now that the regular season is underway, we no longer can watch practice from start to finish. We get basically 10 minutes to take attendance, and that's it. And then they can run all their secrets they want, and only the people on the Metro train driving by can see it.
All the Packers fans. Well, here's another thing. What if Ben Johnson's those one-on-one drills that he did between offensive linemen and defensive linemen, maybe that was just all a test to find out, well, who's my trick play option? Is it Darnell Wright? Is it Joe Tooney? who had one of the best moves on Grady Jarrett? I'm joking here, but they did it a few times throughout training camp. What, 2-3 times where the lineman caught passes?
It's possible. It's possible. I'm trying to think of another fun wrinkle. We're trying to get.
I mean, remember, Ben Johnson loves laterals, so keep in mind some kind of lateral situation. Hook and
he
ladder.
was openly talking about that last week with Danny Parkins.
Who?
He was on with Parkins last week. Yeah, Danny.
Never heard of him. Just kidding.
Has he been on? Has he been on your show yet?
That's.
This is a fun podcast
today. Danny, there will be an episode with Danny Parkins.
Does he know that, or are you just declaring that right now?
No, he knows that. He knows that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the lateral idea too. All right, I want to switch gears real quick before we close out the show on the defense, because Johns, you brought this up a few minutes ago. Dennis Allen, faith in Dennis Allen. I'm gonna admit that I have been on a defensive roller coaster this offseason. I went into camp probably on the downside, just like I feel like we've in some ways overrated what the defense was under Matt Eberflus, especially, I mean, the run defense was just not good last year. And it just seems like it's something that was being overlooked a little bit, and too much faith was being put in the idea that, okay, they made a couple additions and Jaquan Brisker is just going to magically be healthy for 17 games and it's all going to go great. And then we showed up to camp and guess what? They look great. I mean, it looked like a good unit that, I think they just need to be top 10. And I thought that was very realistic based on what I was seeing. And then I don't know. Now we're at the end of camp and TJ Edwards is hurt. I'm worried about that. Jalen Johnson isn't going to be 100% to start the season. And just the vibes with that injury sounds like I'm just worried it's going to linger throughout the year, even if he's playing, that he might not be the same guy. I think that's a fair concern at this point. I don't know. I've been on this roller. I'm just saying, I've been on this roller coaster, and I'm a little worried that we're still overrating what this defense can be right now, I guess is my point. And I hope they prove me wrong, but that's just kind of where I'm at as we go into week 1.
I have felt good about Montez Sweat this summer. I've felt good about Jaquan Brisker. I felt good about Tremaine Edmonds. I thought those 3 guys had really good training camps. But I think it's a great point, Hope, because linebacker, you want to talk about drop off in terms of just what you know about these guys from starters to the next few guys. Also, can we mention that the 2nd round pick at defensive tackle, like we haven't seen him pretty much all summer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have that conversation. I think the 2 backup defensive ends combined for 0 sacks last season. So yeah, I think it's fair to have some question marks about all that stuff. And your Pro Bowl corner didn't practice the whole summer until this week. But yeah, the run defense is, because we all know if you can't stop the run, like, you guys are football coaches, that's it. You're done.
Johns, where you at on the D?
I am bullish on Dennis Allen in his scheme. I am very concerned about the pass rush, but that's where I feel like Dennis Allen could help augment that through different blitzes and whatnot. But you don't want to do too much. I like the idea of playing a lot of man coverage in the secondary. I think that fits Tyreek Stevenson specifically. But to your point, I'm a little worried about Jalen Johnson doing that in week 1 against Justin Jefferson. That seems like not a good matchup for a guy coming back from a groin injury that he declared or described as a freak-like injury. Like that's not good. That's a bad matchup for me in week 1. But I guess I'm more positive than you, but I'm not buying into, who was it the other day? Was it Grady Jarrett was describing them, or they had Andrew Billings? They have goals of being top 5 in every single category. That seems just unattainable to me. Maybe they're up there in certain categories, but if the sack rate is good, if the opposing completion percentage is down, like, I'll take those as wins, but maybe top 10, top 15 at worst in that range, but I don't think they're going to be a top 5 elite unit, at least not yet. Got to prove it to me.
All right. Any other final thoughts? Anything else we should hit? We hit a lot here, though. This was fun.
I want to give Johns my Remember Some Guys immaculate grid that I sent to Hoge last night on the text thread that Johns isn't on. So I did.
Wait, yeah, time out, because this brings me. I have to bring up my Twitter feed yesterday morning when I woke up. It was really funny because everything on there was either Pablo Torres take down investigation of the Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, or every athletic writer out there talking. Was it called Connections? Is that what that is?
Sports Connections. Yeah. Did you do the Bears one?
No, I still haven't. I'm sorry, I still haven't clicked on it.
You should do the Bears one. See if you could beat Devin Hester.
Well, I can't beat Devin Hester in anything, but
let's see if I get it done by the end of this podcast. Keep talking.
Is Connections different than the Sports Grid thing, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Immaculate Grid is through the Baseball Reference, Football Reference, and then this week they had a thing where you could just pick like 9 guys, like anybody you want, as like this idea of remember some guys. So I've been having some fun with this. Hoge, I'll send you one I did earlier. I did 2000s White Sox middle relievers. So that was a fun one. Bill Seamus. Did you put in Cliff Polite, Scott Linebrink, Damaso Marte. Yeah. So this one I did Bears draft picks who either never played a game for the Bears or only played like 1 or 2 during our time covering the team.
Oh, who's that Cal safety?
Elijah Hicks? No, he's been all right.
No, the other one they drafted in like the 3rd round. Maybe he wasn't Cal, or maybe he was Oregon State.
Brandon Harden.
Yeah. Didn't he never play in a regular season game?
So I don't think he ever played, so he wouldn't come up on here. It's only guys that actually played in a game.
Oh, I thought it was draft picks who never played in a game.
No, I did draft picks who like barely play, or some of these guys actually never did play in a game for the Bears, but played in a game for somebody else. Okay, here we go. Tayo Fabaluje.
Yeah.
Daniel Braverman. Kylie Fitz.
These are draft picks.
Oh my
Draft
God.
picks.
Kylie Fitz.
Here's one. Remember Kareth White Jr.?
Draft pick.
FAU.
Kick returner. Yeah. Daz Newsome, Herb Howard's guy.
Draft pick.
Shout out Herb.
Oh,
Yeah.
that just reminded me. He still owes me for that bet that we made.
He does. Latavius Simmons. Johns' guy, David Fales. DeAndre Hall.
Yeah, that was my guy. I'll own that one.
And then Kendall Williamson. Kind of a recent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are Bears late round draft picks who either never played for the Bears or only played in a couple of games. Remember some guys.
Interesting.
So I was perfect on today's sport connections, but how do I go back to do the Bears one? Is it just one and done on that day?
There's a story on The Athletic that has every team listed. I also tweeted it out yesterday, so you can go to my Twitter to go find it. But I helped build that board. I actually will say I had a more challenging one as my first draft, but shout out Mark Cooper, who is the sports connections guru, said we had to make it a little bit easier.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Now that you're like you've reached a rank where you're hanging out with guys like Mike Sirico and Joe Buck. I need you to run this up the flagpole to the New York Times because it sounds like you have this power now. As somebody who subscribes to The Athletic, owned by the New York Times, the fact that they have now put the New York Times mini crossword puzzle behind a paywall, why the F can I not access that?
So if you go to your audio platforms and look up Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane, hit follow, hit subscribe. If you're on Apple, throw a review on there as well, maybe a 5-star rating. Subscribe on YouTube, Breaking In with Kevin Fishbane, and then we're on Instagram, Breaking In Pod KF.
Okay,
and get Hoge Jahns to number 1. They're close.
Yeah, that actually you should do because I'm taking that personally. So if you haven't listened to the episode, go check it out. Kevin, thanks for jumping on with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Hold on, I'm almost done with this. Hold on.
Okay, we're doing a live podcast right now. You know that.
I know. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. He's multi.
Oh, I got you distracted me. I wanted a perfect one, but I accidentally hit another one.
So what? If you get one wrong, you get dinged for it?
We're done.
Yeah, you get like 3 strikes or something.
All right. Johns is done with his game he's playing, so we can end the show now. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow. Alec Lewis, also from The Athletic, and the Alec Lewis Show, which is, I believe, is featuring Kevin Fishbane today. He'll be joining us to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Our normal preview episodes, our game week preview episodes, return tomorrow. The soundboard will be in full force. I've been working on it. It's good to go. And yeah, we're going to deep dive on this game. We're going to make our predictions. We'll probably make our season predictions as well. Don't miss tomorrow's show coming out Friday as we finally, hopefully, get to this game Monday night. And there's football tonight, too. We got Eagles, Cowboys. We made it, guys. We're back.
See ya.